Kenny here with Gardening Simplified. It is April 25th and we're out here in the garden and we're going to do a garden tour. So let's take a look. All right, let's see what's going on. I've done a garden tour earlier this month, but I still haven't got to posting it. So we're just going to forget about it and go for another one. Now we do have a lot of grass taken over. We've got what was little bitty ones coming up, getting bigger. And my baby, she's been taking care of getting a lot of it pulled. Onions are starting to bulb up. They still should be a little bit before they get ready, but they're starting to look good. We're starting to get a few cabbages filling out, and we got worms on one. I need to get out here and spray, but we were going to have wind or rain today, so I said we'll put that off. Definitely our cilantro getting some grass. Collards, we're fixing to, we've got some others that are just about ready. Let's take a look and see. Just about ready to go out. And they're little bitty, but they'll like it better if I transplant them then. These are the Georgia Collards. Those were champions, and if you've seen an earlier video, we didn't particularly care for the flavor as much. But now that we're in the greenhouse here, we've still got some spinach that needs to be put out. Trying to decide where to put it. Finally got some echinacea to germinate, so we're going to do something with it. Now we got some cabbage here. It was sparse germination, but this was a maybe put this out, and I don't think we're going to use it. Now our celery down here, it's doing pretty good. It's starting to get a hold and go. The lettuce, it's not going to be long. It's going to be toast, I'm sure, with the weather keeps changing like it is. I guess we'll try to get in some kind of order here. Our green beans, I looked at them today. They're starting to put little buds. They're going to start blooming, as you can see, so it won't be long we start having some green beans. Our red onions, the ones we planted, these are the ones we planted from sets, these two rows. Now we had some of them popping up seed tops. And we got way more onions than we're going to need anyway, but what we have done is we went ahead and pulled these up, and we're going to freeze dry those. So maybe we'll get a video on freeze drying green onions. Anyway, we've got plenty more over here. These are starting to swell a little bit, so it won't be long. They're going to be bulbing up. And we've got our cabbage here. This was laid. It was it's kind of root bound. It started out slow, but once it got a hold, now it's starting to go. Of course, we got some more onions down there, and this is leek, and you can see a bunch of this leek sending up seed tops. So what we're going to do is we're going to harvest these out, and we're going to do them the same way. We're going to freeze dry the leek, so we'll have it, because it's not going to, leek doesn't store good anyway, but it'll still be good, and we can use it. And it looks like we might end up having to start pulling this out, because you can see even the little ones are taking and popping up seed tops. So it's all planning to go to seed. So we'll end up harvesting it, and what we don't sell at the farmer's market, we'll just freeze dry to make sure we keep it. Now, up here along the fence, we have our little Market More 66 or 76 cucumbers. They're just now starting to do some little blooming down here. Of course, surely they'd want the grass out of their way, but they're on their way. We've got our red curry squash here. It's not started taking off, but it won't be long. Down there we've got our cantaloupes, and we've got okra down this row. We've got garlic here. Now our peas, they're starting to put on pods. We've got to plant this end of this row right here. But these peas, there's 2 different varieties in here. They've just started blooming. They're loading up with pods, starting to fill out. So maybe she'll get her a batch of early peas before it gets too hot. And for sure, I don't know that she'll take any of them for market. I think what we're going to end up doing is just canning most of those, or putting them, blanching them, put them in the freezer. Now this elephant garlic, it's been popping up seed tops. We took a bunch to the market this past week of the scapes, and I need to get out here and pick the rest of these. Those of you that don't know about garlic, if you let your scape growing up and flower, what it's going to do is take energy away from the bulb. So when you pop those off, that energy is going to be transferred to building a bigger bulb. These ought to have pretty good sized bulbs. Now I was digging around this one before. It's definitely getting a big bulb down here. It hasn't got to where it's started forming cloves, so it'll go a little bit longer, but it's getting close. It won't be long that garlic will be ready. These are our Cherokee purple tomatoes. We've got to get the baskets around them, and of course some more garlic. This isn't looking as pretty as a lot of years. Of course, it looks like it's just getting ready to start sending up its scapes. Normally, you can see this. It's whenever it starts getting elongated and starts climbing up there, stretching out. That's normally then right after that you'll see those scapes. Now these put out a prettier scape, and a little sweeter than the elephant garlic. The elephant garlic ones are good for cooking, but that's a little better. Now this is my seeds saved from my red snappers last year. Now they were F1, so we're going to see how these do. And these we aren't going to put cages on. We're just going to do the Florida weave on that, and I'll show you it whenever I get a little bit of time and we'll start putting up T-posts to do that. Everything's looking good here. We've got our Dinosaur Kale. Of course, we had just harvested this Friday. We've got some cabbage. These are doing good, filling out, so maybe it won't be long. We'll have some more cabbage for the market. Over here on this other row, this is our broccoli. Now it ought to be just about at the point that it might start forming some heads, and this good heavy rain is really good for it this time of year. It likes a lot of water, and that's what I try to tell people. Now you can see this one has formed a head. This one we'll harvest in a few days. What it's happening is, like the others, these were root bound, and this one really got stunted and stressed, and that's what happens when they get stressed. They don't grow, and then they go ahead and pop their seed head out to try to flower and go from there. And we might let it go ahead and flower and bring the bees in, because our new hive likes as much nectar as they can get. Now these squash here, now I did something different. Now these look like zucchini leaves. I mean, normally my squash doesn't do good. In fact, it's probably more like that, or maybe even a little bit less. But what I've done with this, and this was crookneck, the same that I've grown last year that really did bad. But I heard that that if you put phosphate in it, it'll cut down on your pest damage as far as squash bugs and stuff. They won't be near as heavy. And it goes to reason as far as the better you take care of your soil, and the better your plants are, the healthier they are. They don't put out those hormones that tell that they're stressed, so bugs come in and attack them, because normally they attack the stressed plants. But anyway, I had put a 1/4 cup of bone meal in each one of these holes when I planted them, and I put a little bit of chicken litter too. Normally I just put it on the top around, but this time I put it in the hole and took and planted these, and you can see the difference it made. It's far as like I say, they look, there's zucchini at the end of the row, and the zucchini doesn't look is any better than the crookneck squash. So you can see how that's going. Okay, what we got here is some okra and, like I say, plenty of grass. We have some wonderful strawberries growing out here. You know, ain't nothing like taking a garden tour and pulling you off a fresh strawberry. Those are so good. Wonderful. And they're loaded up. These are really starting to produce heavy. The Avion is an early producer. Now the grass is trying to take over again, and we're going to have to get down here, and we're going to have to get hot and heavy and get it out of here. That's all I can say. But they're doing good. Lots of strawberries. Now there's been some mold, some fungus and different stuff. So probably 50% of them don't get to market because we end up cutting them up and freeze drying them, you know, cutting off the bad places and stuff. But we're still getting quite a few. Our blueberries, now last year, you know, we didn't get just one a piece off our bushes. And with this cold weather the way it is now, and we need to get the grass out, she's got most of it up this way. But they are putting on blueberries. And we've got a few strawberries here. We need to get these moved over into the beds where we've got some holes and get them off. We're going to put some ground cover right along the fence. Keep the weeding down. We still got to go between this row and this row. It was weeded out pretty much, and it's going to have to get back after it. Now these here, these are the premieres. They're a later one. Now these should put on a pretty good sized berry. And I don't remember this one, but this was a mid to late variety too. And they're loaded up. Now they won't be as big a berry as the other ones. Down here, we got more onions, and you can see one right there putting a seed top up. So we'll have to go through here regular and decide either just to pull them, or if we got enough of them doing it, we'll freeze dry them. Over here is our late garlic. We're going to see how this does. Garlic seems to grow heavier and stockier in the cool weather. You know, when it gets warm like this, it grows. To me, it's a little bit more leggy because it's got more heat. It's growing faster, and so it's isn't quite as pretty. But we do need to get in here and get this taken care of because as you can see, the grass is really getting up. We had all these high winds, and what that does is these little bitty seeds from this crabgrass that's all over the place, it just blows them right in. Now here we've got this is some sprouting broccoli, and there is a little bit there, but it's not really that great. A lot of it went to seed because it was stressed out. We've got our peppers in right here. They seem to be taking a hold. We're going to have to come back and do some staking on them here pretty quick. Right in here are some more green beans, and these are starting to bud the same way. It won't be long. These will start getting loaded up with green beans and start getting a lot of activity from the bees. Now we have some cucumbers here. These are pickling ones. We still need to get our fence up and get these up off the ground onto the fence. And I still haven't got in here with my carrots. My carrots are getting a little bit large, but they're just so heavy in here, they've got to be thinned out. And hopefully this will be the week I'll get that, go ahead and weed this out and thin these down, because otherwise they won't make much carrot. And these are sweet peppers. Most of them's bells. I think there's some jalapenos in there in our containers. Now I've been steadily coming back and getting weeds, keeping these kind of weeded, but as you can see, I have these big weeds here, if you can recognize this. Apparently we missed a few potatoes in that dirt. We got one there, and we've got a few more coming up there, so we'll just have to deal with it. We've got a few scraggly cabbages left here, but nothing to talk about. Now let's go over here and see our citrus trees, and we have quite a few. And here's my baby here. This is my single seed challenge, and it's really doing good. I'm fixing to do a video because, as you can see, the roots are coming out the bottom, and I'm going to put it into a bigger pot. Get that thing potted up with a few of its friends, but it was lagging behind this one, but now it looks like it's deciding it's going to get ahead of it. And you see this grass come up in here? That wind blows grass seeds everywhere. And that kind of defeats the purpose of my no-dig beds, because they usually are pretty much weed-free, but when you have something like that happen, that wind, it just really messes them up. Now we've got some hot peppers we put in over on this side just recently. We've got our cucumbers. These are slice more variety, and you can see they're putting on cucumbers, so it won't be long. If this little one here got fertilized, it won't be long it'll be coming out. But I do have male flowers and the female, so I should start getting cucumbers pretty soon. Now we're fixing to get these sweet potato slips in the ground. This good rain today, and I've started a video on these, and we'll show you how well these have done. I've got one of the other trays in the workshop. I was inspecting it and deciding if I want to go ahead and put them in the ground, but I think I will. I was hoping to have more slips come up. I do have quite a few. They are a little sparser than I would have liked, but they'll do just fine. A little update on propagation. All my little cuttings from pruning, I have one cutting that actually has roots. Now I have a lot that looks like they might have roots, but the only one that actually did root out to the edge of the cup so far has been one of the apple root stocks. These others, they just aren't putting out their roots. They were started a little bit late for one, and hopefully next year I might do better, but I'm thinking I might just do some air rooting instead of doing this other like that. But anyway, you can see how intense we've planted in here. We put a lot of lettuce and stuff along the bottom. Now our tomatoes, we've got several varieties in here, and I'm just about got all the strings up. That's kind of a major job for me, getting the strings. And as I've got these, now I've got to come back and get rid of all the suckers that's coming out in here, because I'm going to keep these up to a single stem quite a ways up this year, then let them bush out to maybe 2, 3, 4 stems. But as you can see, I still haven't got these. I've got my strings hung, and these are really in here tight, so that's going to be a chore. Now on our fig propagations, we on our Texas everbearing, which was one I had propagated about 22 plants of it, I maybe had 20% success rate on it. I've got a few left that are showing signs that they might do, but like I said, the success rate was really low. On on all my other varieties, I probably they've had about 85% rate. So I've still got a few that are been started real late that still have to root out, but they've still got time. We've got our radishes, and I think maybe we're growing more grass than radishes, and our parsley's the same way. The parsnips, they're doing good. They're trying to shade out some of that grass. We have some garlic in here. We've harvested all the onions. Now we had some nodules off the elephant garlic planted in here, but I think maybe we should have left them in the ground, put them back in when we harvest. I think it would do better. We'll try that next year. We're growing our seed carrots here, and I kind of like to show these off when people come out to the garden, because what happens is they just get really, really large. This particular variety of carrot, that carrot is probably about 2.5 inches around. Ain't gonna tell how long, and I really won't know. Like I say, I'm leaving this little corner here, a little 3x4 area, and we'll let these set up seeds, and I'll save seeds from these ones. We've had a lot of worm damage here from I don't know, army worms, cutworms, different types of worms eating on our Chinese cabbage, but I haven't sprayed it. I just we have some baby chicks now, and they really like it, so we just take and dig it up, and if they get the worms, boy, they really like those, because they'll go crazy. But we've still got a few things to put out. We got some right down here. We've got our yellow scorpion peppers, and we've got some cayennes that need to go in the ground. And I'm trying to think. These are all my habaneros. They're slower growing, but they're in real good health, so they need to get in the ground while they are. They'll do good. And we've got some basil here, and these here were the cayennes, and I'm probably still going to put them in the ground, but you can see they're wanting to bloom. They've really stayed out of the ground too long. Same thing with our herbs. We've got to set up all our containers for these herbs, because we're not going to grow them in the ground, and they really need to be gotten out of their container and put somewhere. There's a lot going on, and a lot that needs to be taken care of, and hopefully it won't be long we'll get these in, and we won't end up having them die or get so bad root bound. But the tomatoes are doing really good. They're getting some size on them, about 3 feet on some of them. The Chinese cabbage, this is a Hilton variety, and it's starting to head up. I'm going to have to come in here with some BT and spray for the worms, though, and get that taken care of. And I've got to get back over here. As you can see, we put our string here, but these are needing to be wrapped up some more, and we're going to have to clip these others. We've got some hangers to kind of guide them that way, and then once we get them where they're growing straight up, we'll pull them over and clip them to the twine. But anyway, that's where we're setting in here. I hope this encourages some of you. I know a lot of you up north, it's just you're still waiting, because I know May for some of you, you've got a short growing season, but as you can see, and one thing I recommend, because it's been raining today, but if at all possible, if you can do the expense of a greenhouse and put one in, it is really excellent, because you can regulate your sun, for one. Down here in the south, now I just leave this 40% shade cloth on all year round, but you can regulate the temperature in here. You can regulate your water in here, so you don't worry about getting overwatered. And you can work in here when you can't work anywhere else, so it fits your schedule. You know, you don't have to try to schedule around the rain. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little garden tour, and we'll get you a look at some of the other later, because the corn is really doing good, the potatoes are really doing good, and we'll get that video out on planting those sweet potatoes. So if you want to see more, well, of course, hit the subscribe, hit the bell so you'll be notified, and give it a big thumbs up, and happy gardening.